But everybody can do this. It's not anything special. Because this is what's truly happening in sessions of practitioners now. It's about helping other people to remember their gifts, who they are, what they can do, to empower people and to help each other. We cannot stop what's happening. I can see it in my sessions over the course of the last 3 years. There's an acceleration of people activating their gifts. There are gifts that exist we cannot even put a name on because it's just limited by your imagination, basically. I had a lady and I don't know what happened. I'm going to tell you that story. It's incredible. I said, look into the palm of your left hand. She started to do that. I said, keep looking. The screen appeared in her hand and she had the movie in her hand. I was like, what kind of gift is that? This is so cool. She was like, I was like, what's happening? She said, there's a screen in my hand. So our clear third eye created a picture overlay of a screen and she could see the Akashic records like this. I was like, what?
First day of 2026, very, very early in the morning, I had an unexpected message from someone I did not know. His name is Patrice Krysztofiak. He's a medical intuitive, and that message turned into one of the most unusual and personal conversations I've ever had on this podcast. Since that moment, I've experienced some profound shifts in my life, and so have several of my friends. Patrice is thoughtful, he's funny, and completely authentic. In this conversation, we talk about listening to the body, intuition, healing, and why sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is simply lighten up, and he makes that perfectly clear with me during this conversation. And as Patrice likes to remind us, remember to smile. And if you enjoy Fear Unzipped, please subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. It means the world to me and helps the show to keep going. So now, without further ado, please enjoy this conversation with Patrice Krysztofiak. Patrice Krysztofiak, welcome to Fear Unzipped. What a delight. This is a highly personal conversation for me because we met recently online, out of the blue, the way magic happens, and I will share my experience with you. It's difficult for me to have words about how truly extraordinary it was, and I hope that I can get that across during our conversation. But I'll go into that later. I really want people to know who you are. You are a medical intuitive, and I can tell you to the audience and listeners that when you reached out to me, which was January 1st at 6 a.m. is when I saw it, of this year, that I was going through severe pain in my left shoulder. I thought I probably needed surgery, and I work out a lot. And then you popped into my field and something about it felt right. And I don't do that. I don't just jump on something. So we'll get into that. But for right now, I want people to get to know you. And I do want to share a quote. I have so many great quotes from you, but one of the quotes is, many conditions are not just biological events. They are unresolved experiences that are still living in the tissue. And that's what I actually felt about my shoulder. There was something emotional in it. But Patrice, welcome. You are French, but you live in Portugal. And will you please share with our audience your background, who you were before this happened, before you became this medical intuitive?
Thank you for having me on your podcast, Sandi. Yeah, when I saw your podcast, I was like, yes, this is where I need to be. My body was like shaking all over the place because I listen to my body signals. The body is a compass. This is what people need to understand. The body is giving us messages all the time. We have to listen to our body signals all the time. So who was I before? I was just a regular French guy living in the countryside of France for 50 years. Well, I'm not going to go through my whole life. But I used to be a computer developer. I used to write video games. And then I started to work into digital marketing because I needed to sell my software. which actually worked very well. I got very good at search engine optimization and building websites. And eventually I built a website with a friend, which was a dentist directory in France, so for dental work, because this did not exist in France. And we actually got sued for this directory because we did not respect regulations. But since that was my name in the legal terms of the website, they sued me, they didn't sue my friend. And I risked 300,000 euros, was about $300,000, maybe $350,000 today, with today's exchange rate, and 3 years in jail for that website. So what I did not understand is that the law is written for the biggest criminals, so it was not really what I risked, but that was not explained to me. So when you get a lawsuit, you don't know what's going on in the background with the lawyers and the police of commerce and stuff like this. They don't tell you what's happening. So this is where my monkey mind kicked in, and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to go to jail. I'm going to have to find $300,000, which I didn't have. We're going to have to sell the house, everything we have built for so long. And I would go to bed every day for 1 year, and I would say, oh, I don't want to be alive anymore. So I didn't want to commit suicide. I was not at that point, but it was like, it made no sense to be alive. So every night I would go to bed and I said, oh, I don't want to wake up. Please don't wake up. Please don't wake up, Patrice. But I failed. No exit point for me yet. And
thank goodness for us, Patrice. That's all I can say.
So after a few months, when my wife tried to get me to do meditation because I was so depressed. Also, my mom passed away at the same time, so I had double whammy. And my guitar teacher said, oh, you should do meditation, but could help you. And my wife was telling me to do meditation too for a long time, and I didn't listen to my wife. So please, listeners, listen to your wife sometimes. So I did, and I found an app in French, guided meditations from a psychologist. And I really like the voice of the guy. Actually, this is what I remember. The voice really spoke to me. I think this is very important, that you find a practitioner that you resonate with. Resonance is very, very important. I really like the voice of that guy. I understood the stories were very straight to the point. It was very clear what he was explaining. So it was a full program. And after a few weeks or months, I don't remember exactly because that was like 6 or 7 years ago, there was a category called Monkey Mind, the meditation. So I did that one. And it was a guided journey through a forest. And you say, oh, there's bees, animals, fruits, blah, blah, blah. And it says, now think about anything you want. And my mind went blank at this moment. And I entered into the light, like in movies when they die and they see the light. Oh my God, I saw the light. I'm in the light. And I was surrounded by the light, 360 degrees experience. And I started laughing of joy. And I was at the lowest point in my life, basically. And I remember my wife came running, said, why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? What's happening? I said, I entered into the light. So I believe this is a day where I really activated my spiritual gifts, let's call it like this. And then eventually we decided to go to Portugal a few weeks later, because that was a dream, to go to Portugal. And just before we left, we received a letter from the Chamber of Commerce, or Police of Commerce. I don't exactly remember how that works. And they just asked us for a settlement. And we didn't get sued at the end. We just started to settle. We just wanted money. So we were dancing in the house. It was still a lot of money, but we just wanted money. So we went to Portugal. So I was 50 years old, and I used to be a workaholic, guilty as charged workaholic, me. And plus I love working. So it's not like it was a chore. I really loved it. It was like my drug. And I said, I'm going to take care of myself for the first time in my life at 50 years old. I said, I'm going to go for a massage every week. So I picked a place in Portugal by where we stayed. And didn't realize that the lady did energy work. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't even know that existed. So it was like... So I'm going to keep the story short because it's over the period of a few months, maybe 2 years. I believe that one day she did that move on my back without touching my back. And I felt like this static electricity wave, like a ripple, like when you throw a rock in water and it does like these circles, like this, but with energy. And it went like this on my back, like this. It was really like in the Matrix when it's in slow motion. I could feel it, but I could feel the energy. And then I gagged the energy, like in the movie The Green Mile. I went, that was incredible. I was like, what's that? That was amazing. It was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. And she said, I got it. Unfortunately, our English was very limited and my Portuguese was very limited, so I never knew what it was. Now I understand what it was. It was a blockage of energy that needed to go on my activation, basically. So I'm going to keep the story even shorter because it's over the course of 2 or 3 years after. I started to see emojis on people when they touched me after that event. So I would see little smiley faces if they were happy or like augmented reality, the Google glasses or something like this. Or a little mask if they were a liar. I would see things. I was like, wow, but if I'm seeing things, that is so cool. Because when I realized energy was a thing, I was like, oh, this is clairvoyance. This is what people are talking about. So it was what it was for me. Because the energy uses the vocabulary we know. So for me, it was geek because I was in the computer world for so long. Because since I was a kid, I was programming. So we have a lot of vocabulary that comes from the tech industry. Eventually, we went back to France, and my wife has been sick for a long, long time. She could not breathe very well, and she was losing weight. She was losing her hair, and the full package, like autoimmune disease of some sort. But nobody could figure out what she had. And I said, oh, let's do like the lady in Portugal, because we used to do a ritual before we did a massage, we did breath work and stuff like this, and I really like that. So we goofed around, we invented the ceremony with breath work, but our intention was so pure that actually something happened that day. I had a flash of a picture, so we were doing breath work with my wife, crazy breath fire. We're like, oh, there's something. I didn't really pay attention, I thought that was my imagination. So we kept going. And the second one, I said, this is something. After I ran to the computer, I typed something on Google Images. I don't remember exactly what the query was. I don't even know how I got the query. The first picture that showed up on Google Images was my vision. That was my first medical intuitive experience. It was a photo of a parasite that was on the homepage of my website. I kept it. And that was incredible. So we called a doctor. We got lucky because it was during a lockdown episode. And we did online meeting with a doctor. So I went through the list because that didn't exist before COVID. So that was pretty cool. We could do that from home. And I said, so my wife is American. Our French isn't very good. So I spoke to the doctor. I said, when my wife has this parasite, what can we do? And they didn't ask her, was a doctor, she was a lady. She didn't ask her how we got the information because we didn't get any test. So she looked it up and said, oh, this is it. I've never heard about it, but we have the medicine at the pharmacy. So we got the medicine and what healed my wife. It's not just pure energy. It's a combination of scientific and energy work that gave us the information. And then, so the parasite was eating our lungs from the inside and our body from the inside, basically little parasites. And that's how she recovered. So that was my first experience.
Oh gosh, Patrice. Well, let me now share with the listeners and viewers what happened with me. I'm always open-minded. I try to go in judgment-free, but I'm a skeptic. I want to be a skeptic. I really believe in discernment. My phone lights up at 6 a.m. I don't usually go to my phone. It's not the first thing I do in the morning. My shoulder was killing me. I was thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do about this shoulder? Because I like to be active. I hike. I work out a lot. I mean, I have to be active. It's just a part of who I am. And it's this email from you telling me who you are. And you showed me, there was a link to a podcast you were on. Now, I have never done this before where I immediately, I'm going to put that on. There's something. I need to know this man. I usually take time, and I'm so grateful that people do reach out and they want to be on the podcast. I'm honored. I'm truly honored, but it takes time to do the research. There's so many people, and you popped in, and I said, okay, I'm going to watch this, and I put it on the big screen of the TV, and I watched that interview. Really, that guy was great who interviewed you, and I thought, I need to know you for a lot of reasons. I just feel like there was a connection of some kind, and I get attracted to energy. That is what attracts me. And if the energy resonates, which yours did, for some reason, I thought, okay, and you'd offered a session. So January 5th, I did my session with you. And so let's go talk about that session a bit and what happened. So you get on and you're moving your hands, and then you're gagging like you're gonna throw up.
Yeah, I throw up sometimes.
Yes, and you physically throw up. So here I am, and fortunately, I'm open to all of it, so nothing is weird to me. But will you explain to the listeners and viewers, what was that? What was happening while you were looking in my body, and what, in general terms, what were you seeing? And why was your body reacting? You were moving a lot. Your hands were doing this. You stared at me for minutes on end. You just stared in my eyes. So can we break it down a little bit so people understand when they go to you what is happening?
Okay, so this is my personal theory. It's not exact science. I'm going to tell you what I believe it is.
Right.
So I used to see, before I used to see holographic movies of what was in your body, MRI machine. I don't see that anymore. I just know most of the cases, instantly what it is when it can be worked on. So it does not mean that it can be worked on with energy. Sometimes I am getting go to see the doctor, go to the hospital. It's very important that you go see a medical professional. I'm not all into the full energy thing. If we're here for the 3D experience, sometimes you just need to go to the dentist or to the doctor. I want to be very clear, I'm not healing people. So what I feel is a disruption of energy flow in your body. It can be electric or other sources of energy. For example, emotions that could be attached. I don't know the name of that energy because science cannot measure it, but I can feel very something. So when I move, I'm actually moving with the flow of energy in the room. So right now I'm moving like this. It's like a Tai Chi flow. So this is why you are going to see more and more people who are going to receive healing from Tai Chi or Qigong energy, because it's actually moving energy. It's not just about feeling the energy, it's about the flow. So the energy can flow in your body again, so you can come back into harmony. So what I believe I do, well, not me, I'm just a channel, I'm just a clear channel. I'm a vibrational pillar, but I can tune in into your frequency. And I can match your frequency so you can go back into harmony. But it takes a long time. So sometimes I have to just stare at people for a long time. I don't even know what's happening. It's like I lose my mind. I'm completely blank. And I'm just letting it happen. So it's just a channel. And sometimes I speak stuff, I don't even know what it is. And people are like, oh my God, how did you know this? I don't even know what I said because I don't remember. But it triggers something in the person that's in front. It's like, oh my God, it's this. How did you know? That happened the other day. The lady was looking for a problem. I said, it's mold. She looked everywhere in the house and she couldn't find it. And then she realized she had like a little mug with a cap. It was inside her cap. And she didn't realize. She said, oh my God, thanks to you, I found the mold. And she started to feel better just for that. So it's not just energy work, but it helped her. It's just meeting me helped her find the source of the mold and the source of her problem, because mold is very bad on the body. So I would say I'm a trigger to unlock what is locked in your body, but you cannot figure out because maybe you forgot or it's too traumatic. So sometimes I don't speak it in English or French because it's really too traumatic. And I'm not even sure the person remembers. So I don't want to bring up the trauma that happens very, very often, especially with childhood trauma. Do you want to remember? You probably don't even know what happened, but your body remembers. So this is where I cannot me, whoever force is going through me, moves it with energy or sometimes with light language. So I just speak gibberish, but that corresponds to the frequency of that event. And that triggers a reaction in the body of the person. They start to have somatic reaction. Their body readjusts itself because the body is designed to actually repair itself. But it's been frozen in time. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes.
It's too long. It would take too long to explain.
No, I understand, because there really is no explanation. There really is. It just happens. And I can tell you, for me, it was 100% real. You went into channels where you did light language. There was a shaman that came in, and there was Mother Mary that came in. And it's interesting because I'm not religious. I don't really know anything about Mother Mary. I don't know, I didn't study the Bible or anything like that, but I do have a relationship with her because she came in once before in a mediumship circle I was in, and it was beautiful. It was just an incredible conversation that she and I had, like two loving people together talking. It was beautiful. And then she came in and she was really funny. I don't know if you remember, but she was very, very funny and very supportive. And then you brought in galactic help. And that I felt, Patrice, like strings of galactic help. And then you said in the very beginning, you said, okay, feel your shoulder. And I'm like, I'm doing this and my shoulder's fine. My shoulder's fine. What's that all about? And then you were about to throw up many, many times. And your back became very painful. And I'm saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And you said, oh no, I love it. So I love that. And you do, and you love it. And then you'd stare at me and you smile. And there's something, very, very energetic in your smile. And you always tell people, remember to smile. And normally when you're staring at somebody, like I was staring at you, it's uncomfortable to stare in somebody's eyes. There was no discomfort for me whatsoever. In fact, I could feel my eyes kind of slowly getting heavy, like I wanted to go to sleep. Thanks for the great company. No, but so it was beautiful. And at the very end, I said, okay, what am I going to feel now? And you said joy. And I went, wow. And then our session, it was about an hour and a half. And I think you go as long as it's going to take to get somebody to where they need to be. And I have felt, Patrice, joy since January 1st. I have felt, I get tinges definitely in my shoulder, but I also go to the gym and I shoot baskets backwards from half court. That's kind of my thing. So the other day I did it and I did it like 30 times. I didn't get it 30 times, but I did it. And it's very hard on my body because it's very far to get from half court. And I'm going, Sandi, what are you doing? Patrice just healed you. What are you doing? I thought, wait a minute. If it's energetic, it's going to feel sore, but it's not going to feel torn. And it's sore. Like you go to the gym. It's sore, but it is fine. So my question is for those of us who feel things in our bodies and we're uncomfortable, and how can we, without you, how can we find ways to heal ourselves? Like a very simple way. So it doesn't require a whole lot of, ceremony.
It's actually very, very easy, but it's hard to believe that it's that easy.
Okay.
So first of all, you need to find some time for yourself, which is a challenge. Get rid of your TV also. Your TV is your worst enemy. If you have a TV and you watch the news, it's going to be very, very difficult to heal your body because this is designed to break you down. Speak to your body. Every single tissue, just get the encyclopedia. So I bought a simple one with all the body parts. And you just go one by one. You lay down in your bed. You make up the vocabulary you want. Let's say you have shoulder pain. You find the page about the shoulder, all the shoulder tissues, ligaments, and you say, clear this ligament, clear this muscle, clear this, clear the bone, clear one by one, every day. Until something happens. You will realize you will have a somatic reaction eventually. A yawning, some tears, shaking, burping, maybe vomiting like me, twitches, laughter. So more and more, I'm seeing more and more people actually releasing energy with laughter. It's actually really funny. It's actually that easy. The problem, the difficulty is to have that first somatic reaction like, yes, I get it. Now I get it. This is the same thing as Tai Chi or Qigong. It's about feeling the wave of energy. But you need to be in a completely relaxed and surrendering state. This is where I'm very good at, I'm going to say, because I can make people very comfortable into the surrendering process. I'm bringing that vibration of inner peace. And I think this is why it works better when I'm present in a group or with a person. There is something else happening, but I do not understand. Like, I'm going to say I'm a vibrational pillar, but there are more and more people like this because basically all the people who healed themselves become vibrational pillars. And we are going to see these people in each neighborhood. This is happening. It's already happening. There's more and more people every day. I'm seeing that. So yes, you can use the word, am I speaking English right now? Sorry, I'm lost because I'm moving energy at the same time. I'm like, what's happening with the energy? The energy is kind of funny. So I prefer to use the word vibrational pillar than healer, because when we don't have problems with the scientific community, we're just working on layers. It's like the software Photoshop. You have different layers. So there's the 3D layer. You need to go to the doctor, but also energetic layers. Different vibrational pillars will work on different layers. But sometimes that's what you need to heal your body or your depression, because sometimes it's just stress, depression, grief. It's not always purely physical things. Or maybe your life is blocked also. I've seen so many people who could not find a job and they found work the next day. At the beginning, I was like, this is just random. But this has happened too many times. It's not random. It's bigger than what we think. So speak to your body. It's very important, because the cool thing is that once you can do it for yourself, you can teach your family members and your friends how to do it. You just need that first moment of something happening, a release or a burp, a yawn, and you will feel better. You will have less pain in your body. The difficulty is that we are in an instant gratification society. We want everything now and boom. No, it's not working like this. Sometimes it takes time. It might take you weeks to release everything. Because if you have 25 years of trauma in your body, that was my case. I worked at the desk for 30 years. My back was like this. It's hard to believe. My back was like a 100-year-old man, farmer that collected potato all his life. Over the last 5 years, my back is almost straight. So it took 5 years to heal my physical curved back. It's absolutely incredible. I didn't even know that was possible. I didn't even think about it. But when I saw pictures of myself, I was like, oh my God, that's not the same guy.
I'm sure you're not even the same guy. And obviously you're not the same guy energetically, that when people see you, you radiate. And so you found the light within, which we're all looking for. We're all looking for who we really are, which is such a hard thing. Like, who am I? But I do know that since that session, a few other things have happened, and that is my intuitive abilities, my mediumship abilities, they've become like really clarified. They're exponentially stronger. There's a knowing that, and I always ask in this space when I do this, any guidance that wants to come in, if it's of love and higher frequency, please come in. You know, you're welcome. But I don't allow energies that are lower than that. In this to me, this is a very sacred space, Patrice. And what you do, you have a huge responsibility. What I do, I have a huge responsibility, and it's a space of healing, putting a warm blanket around people's place of safety, because so many of us don't feel safe. The world is created to not make us feel safe. And I think it's really difficult to heal when you don't feel safe. Can you say something about that?
No, you nailed it.
Okay, conversation over. Patrice, thanks so much for joining me. Well, that's good. See, I'm becoming so wise. No. But it is interesting, because I bet you found that when you started doing this work that came into you, did you find that things were just coming in because you became a magnet for people that might help you through it? Or because I'm just speaking for myself, there's like a magnet here where these incredible people are coming into me, and you are one of them. I mean, I would never have responded like that, but something drew me there.
Yes, obviously what I believe, we are feeling more and more the resonance of people. It's not about how they look anymore. This is a new earth. We are entering into that without noticing. We're shifting dimensions, you could say it like this. We're feeling the resonance. When it resonates, we contact people. I have people in other interviews, they say, I don't know why I was watching your interview. I started barfing during the interview. I started releasing, or my pain disappeared during the interview with that other person. So there's actually, you can feel it, you can probably see it right now as energy moving all over the place. That has happened so many times. Or some people have clairaudience experience during interviews. They're like, contact Patrice, he can help you. This is what people heard. I was blown away by that. I just could not believe it. I was like, what? You say there's energy in the interviews? But that's true, because when I realized I discovered Wendy Kennedy and I was listening to her interviews, and I listened until I could not feel energies anymore. I was like, oh my God, there is something for me with this lady I cannot explain. I watched all our transmissions every single time, and I knew there was something for me. So we are entering into a world of resonance. We know what's good for us, but it's not just about human connection. It's about food also. You're going to realize that maybe one day you're going to wake up, you're going to drink your coffee, and it's going to say, oh my God, my coffee is so gross. Because you're not in resonance with that product anymore. You will have to change brand. Or you will know which fruit is good for you in the store. And this is how we are going to shift the planet, because we are not going to buy what's not good for us anymore. And we'll also find the right practitioners, because we will know. It's just a knowing or a feeling or a physical reaction. Like when I saw your interview and my body went, like, oh my God, I need to contact her. And more people are feeling that. Because I see that in my sessions. People are like, I saw you, I know it's you. Some people even have dreams. Some people had dreams before they saw me on the interviews. They're like, I saw you in my dreams. And when I saw the interview, and he's like, here you are. I'm like, oh my God, I needed to contact with you. So we're entering into a world of resonance. And it's absolutely beautiful. And it's way easier than what we think. But the hard thing is to trust your heart, because it's about the heart space. Trusting things that make no sense. Why would people contact a French man in the middle of the forest?
Well, I'm an example of it, because I like to really do background. I have to, because like I said, this is a real responsibility that I have. But I was very much drawn to you. And energy is really what I relate to. And if it doesn't feel right, I mean, some people don't feel right for me, but they're perfect for somebody else. They're just not right for my resonance. I'm wondering if I know somebody who actually can see people, that can see illnesses in people. Every once in a while, she's walking on the street, oh, that man has a heart condition or something, but she's not a medical intuitive. Can that grow into? Can she grow that? Because she's curious about that.
Yeah, everybody can do this. It's not anything special. It's a human, I think it's a human right, and it got hidden from us. Mm-hmm. How do you help your family members? Nature had a plan. Mother Nature had a plan. Now I understand. Oh my God, I can't speak English today. Today, my wife would say.
Exactly.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I'm trying my best. It's late here. My brain is like, ew. So yeah, everybody can do this. It just takes practice. And also the universe delivers the information when we can help the people. Mm-hmm. So it will find a way to deliver it. You have to be very careful of the signs, because maybe you will see, I don't know, an ad about heart disease 3 times in a row the same day. Mm-hmm. Just be careful of the sign. They will try to deliver. So for us, it's easier because we get a knowing or a picture in our head or something like this, or a clairaudience experience. But everybody can do this. It's not anything special. Because this is what's truly happening in our session of practitioners now. It's about helping other people to remember their gifts, who they are, what they can do, to empower people and to help each other. We cannot stop what's happening. I can see it in my sessions over the course of the last 3 years. There's an acceleration of people activating their gifts. There are gifts that exist we cannot even put a name on, because it's just limited by your imagination, basically. I had a lady, and I don't know what happened. I'm going to tell you that story. It's incredible. I said, look into the palm of your left hand. She started to do that. I said, keep looking. The screen appeared in her hand, and she had the movie in her hand. I was like, what kind of gift is that? This is so cool. She was like, I was like, what's happening? She said, there's a screen in my hand. So our third eye created a picture overlay of a screen, and she could see the Akashic records like this. I was like, what?
I think the sky's the limit here. We have a thick layer of dust all over us, many of us. And because we were tried to keep small, I mean, to control us. And now that you can see it, you can feel it in the world, as chaotic as things are, it's incredibly exciting because people are definitely finding their gifts. And certainly for me, it's exploded just doing this podcast. So much has come in. And what I always offer is, we often will go, oh, I made that up. That's not real. But you get to a point, Patrice, where I'd go, oh, that's completely real. In fact, what happens on the other side or connecting to people who have transitioned, to me, is more real than what I'm doing right now. The energies are more real. The energies are more palpable, more loving, more all-encompassing. So as you're looking at me now, and I see, you're swaying like this and you're moving the energy, I can feel, this beautiful bubble that we're in. Is there something that you're seeing?
We're actually expanding the head, I'm going to say the head. It's like this of all your audience. So everybody's getting an expansion right now. It's like this. This is what's happening. So if people tune in, they will feel like the lower jaw is like expanding a smile. The third eye is going up like this. Eyes are also going like this. So if people are very sensitive to energy, they will feel it. There's also a little bit of, I'm going to say clearing, but it's not correct here, about the higher heart space. This is what people need to understand. This is my belief. I have a lot of clients say, come on, can you activate my third eye? So first of all, we don't choose to activate. It just happens when it happens. So the channel says yes, yes. This is what I believe. You have to work on your heart space. You actually receive the information in the heart space. The third eye is just a translator. So it's more important to work on your heart space. Grounding and heart space are the two things you need to focus on if you want to have more spiritual gifts, let's say. So this is what's happening. It's a podcast of expansion because your audience is very wise. I'm going to use the word wise. I don't even choose because you're just telling me to say wise.
Mm-hmm. And I appreciate that, Patrice, because my audience is wise. They're very loving. They're very wise. And some of them communicate with me. And I'm just blown away about the beauty of the people in this community. Everybody wants to love, to expand, love. They're compassionate. It's been incredible for me. And it's not me. It's just the conduit was put together, and then we all joined in together. So it's such an incredible honor for me. The other thing that you kept telling me in my session with you was you kept calling me boss.
Yes.
And I'm going, what? And for me, boss is like, I'm the boss of you, and I'm totally not that. So when we communicate now in email, I write more later boss, but I still, Patrice, I still am not comfortable saying it. I feel like, who am I to say that I'm the boss? But once I wrote Sandi, and you said, wait a minute, why aren't you saying boss? I'm trying to step into that space. And boss in the sense of the boss of myself, that it's not the boss of anybody else, because that's horrific.
Yeah, you're the boss of your life, is what I said. I went to a restaurant in Portugal and I called the waiter boss. He said, I'm not the boss of the restaurant. I thought he was the boss. I said, no, but you're the boss of your life. That's what came. And the guy went in shock. He's like, oh, that's true. It was like, I was probably channeling that day without noticing. I was completely in the zone. I was in my happy zone, going to a restaurant, and something triggered something in the waiter. He was like, oh yeah, that's true. We're the boss of our lives. We choose what we do.
Well, every time I write boss to you, I'm not there yet. And so that tells you I've got stuff to work on, of course. And it's going to be really cool the day that I write you and I sign it boss and I go, all right, right on. But I'm a work in progress, like so many, and um, but I'm so much further along than I was when I was an anxious, fearful human for so much of my life. So when you're looking in people's bodies, can you see where they're carrying other people's stuff?
Yes. So I don't choose where I look. When the session starts, I'm guided automatically in certain areas. So even if people are going to tell me I have a problem with my hand, so this is how I approach a session. I'm going to say, show me the source of the problem of a hand. Sometimes I will land on your foot, or maybe I will land on a family member. Oh, that was your grandfather or your grandmother. And then the channeling starts from that. And then we move through the body in different zones of the body, because apparently there's an order that needs to be respected to unblock the energy. I'm just the messenger. I'm not the message. I cannot force what I see and what I do. So I'm just completely neutral. This is the challenge, is to not interfere with the message. And I'm very blessed, but I don't know anything. I cannot make stuff up. I was terrible at school. I didn't watch TV. I never liked TV. I'm not very smart, let's put it like this. This is actually a true gift.
Well, I have to share something with you. So I flew from California to Oregon, and you asked me during our session if I got migraines. And so I used to get them when I was pregnant, like a gazillion years ago. And then I started to get migraines again, like in the last few months. And I thought, what is this coming from? And so you just said you didn't know anything about this. In fact, nobody knew anything about this, but you said, what's going on with your right shin? And I said, oh, I had a motorcycle accident and some nerves got damaged there. Nobody knows that. Nobody knows that because it doesn't bother me. I didn't feel a need to tell anybody. He goes, oh, the migraines are coming from that motorcycle accident is what you said. And you started rubbing your right shin. And then I started rubbing my right shin. Well, I was getting on a plane from California to Oregon, and I started to get a migraine. And when I get a migraine, I get a kaleidoscope in one eye, and then I get the headache in the other. But this time, the kaleidoscope went from one eye to the other, so it was going to be massive. And I started rubbing my shin madly and saying, okay, I'm doing it right now. It never, ever came to fruition. Oh, wow. I don't take any kind of drugs at all. I don't like to, but I brought 2 Excedrin headache with me in a little baggie just in case, but I never needed it. And this is my experience with you. I don't know what other people, I had 2 friends that, okay, this is the other thing, Patrice. I didn't tell people about this session except one girlfriend, very close girlfriend, because I wanted to see if it really stuck. This could be a placebo effect where I want this, which is fine. I mean, placebo effect is fine, but it wears off, I think, at some point. So I wanted to make sure this really stuck. So I waited 3 weeks. And then I started saying, okay, I can tell people about this. And of course, you've seen a few of my friends, and they too have stories that are incredible. And one of them has stage 4 cancer. And I don't want to put it out like, this is the miracle. Go to Patrice. This is the miracle cure. But I do believe, Patrice, that you're on a level that I've never, ever seen before. And I think there are tremendously great healers, spiritual people. They're incredibly gifted. And Wendy Kennedy is absolutely at the top for me as well. And what you're doing is on another level to me. And I think we're going to be seeing more and more of people like you.
We are already here. Autistic kids. I'm going to tell you a story. I have a client. She has an autistic son. He touches people, they heal. But he chooses, we decide to touch. They were at the beach, and she just wasn't looking at her kid. And he went to see a lady, and he was actually touching the belly of the lady. And her mom was so embarrassed. I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. My son is begging you." And she says, "No, actually, I have pain in my uterus, and your son just removes the pain." So this is the trick with autistic kids. We are going to realize they are clear channels. They have incredible bandwidth. They are here for a reason. And once we start to see energies and we realize the level of energy they move, because people who can see auras, they can see autistic kids with like rainbow around them that are like miles away. I'm exaggerating, but you get the idea. These people in, I'm going to use the word, I don't like that word, but I'm going to use it in healing circles, like shamanic healing circles. When we bring autistic kids in healing circles, oh my God, you are going to see miracles like we have never seen on the planet before. Well, I'm buzzing so much and you're probably seeing lights all over the place.
Patrice, I'm buzzing too because I know that to be true. And the more that I've learned about autistic people, they're not bogged down with the stuff, the sensory stuff that we, the worry about, am I good enough or it's different. They're more tuned in. They're on a level that's just more tuned in. I didn't explain that very well, but I think you understand what I'm saying. They're not distracted the way we get distracted. Yes. And animals, I feel that too. Can you talk about animals?
I'm going to tweak your question. I tweak my answer actually to your question. This is what comes in. I'm just not in team. I'm in channeling mode right now. Mm-hmm. I think personal, this is my personal thoughts about that. Reflection, personal reflection. We can only help people with a pure heart or people who do the work. Basically, if you're a jerk, you cannot be healed. I'm sorry, but this is the new earth, new rules. So it's kind of hard, but this is also a reason why I'm here, to spread the messages that it's not a free pass for everybody. If you messed up with your life or you are mean to other people or you are a jerk, sorry, this is going to be very, very hard for you to heal. It's still possible, but you need to put the work in. I've seen that happen. I've seen people put the work in. That's a lot of work. We are in this lifetime is absolutely incredible. Everything is going to change, but we have to go toward the heart space. And if we are not, sorry, we cannot do anything for you. This is a very big challenge. Getting emails from people I cannot help. I cried a lot because I was like, oh my God, I'm a jerk. I cannot help these people. This is so sad. I was crying. I cried for days. I actually closed my calendar for weeks because I was crying so much. I was like, oh my God, I'm a jerk. I can't help everybody. The channel does not start if people don't put the work in. It's not that I can choose to force it to open. It just does not work that way. I cannot explain it. Probably a channeler like Wendy Kennedy could channel something about that very clearly. I've channeled many times. New earth, new rules. And it's not like before. We cannot force healings on things like this. But the miracles are going to be way bigger for people who have a pure heart.
Yeah. Well, that's what I found lately. It's all about the heart space, and certainly what I feel in this podcast. And I was telling you before we got on that this weekend, I was with the gorgeous filmmakers of a film called Rescued Hearts, which is the healing power of horses. It's so pure. It's so heartfelt. It's because those two women who created it are 100% heart. And I spent the weekend in a bubble of heart space. You're feeling it.
Oh, yeah.
You're feeling it.
That's so much energy.
You're feeling it and I couldn't sleep last night. It's not because I was worried or anything. I was embodied in so much love. It's Dana Crocier and Chrisanna Sexton who created this incredible movie, Rescued Hearts. The world must see it. But to be in a space of love like that, Patrice, it's so nurturing and healing. And it's love on a level I can't even explain to you. And I brought my husband to the event, and he was able to kind of soak all that into, which was really beautiful because he doesn't really know what I do. He's very patient, but he doesn't really know what I do. Are there other stories that you can share, or one in particular that comes to mind that you just went, wow, this is truly incredible? And I know there's so many.
I had a couple, so actually they came for the wife who had like some sort of belly cancer. She had like big lumps just under the skin of her belly. So actually a medical doctor contacted me and she asked me, can you help my client? And I got a yes, because I asked the channel. Sometimes I get a no. It's not like we can help everybody. That's not how it works. But so that's what I told her. I told the doctor we have to heal her husband, not her, so he can do hands-on healing on her wife. Because they were on the other side of the world. So we did a Zoom conference. The lady was in the bed. We do a session on the husband. I don't know what happened. I know he was 70 years old. His hands started to do something like this. And I said, sir, you can see energies, can't you? He said, oh yeah, there is like this geometrical purple object spinning between my hands. He could actually see it with his eyes open. Then he started to do hands-on healing on his wife. She started to see a rain of gold on her, and they both went, oh my God, there's Yeshua in the corner of the room. But this is, for me, this is not the highlight of the session. The guy had a tremor in his hand, so we finished the session with his wife, because it took a long time, and she had to do other exams and stuff like this. I said, sir, do you want to stop your tremor? Because when I'm in a session, everything is channeled. His wife said, yeah, John, I forgot his name. I'm just going to use John. I don't remember his name. But he's like this. And I said, sir, could you say, slow down, cowboy? What? His wife says, yeah, John, say, slow down, cowboy. We are laughing so hard. My sessions are kind of goofy in my session. So he said, okay. We were like, okay, slow down, cowboy. This is my best cowboy accent. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not very good at impersonating cowboys. His hand went through. His Parkinson's stopped instantly. I was blown away. I was like, what just happened?
What was cowboy? What did that have anything to do with that?
I have no idea, but there was a frequency you needed to hear in that word. It would be like light language. Maybe in light language that would be correct. Yeah, what n'est pas autorité. But the word cowboy contains something that actually triggered something in his body to stop his nervous system from shaking. I don't know. I have no idea what I'm doing, boss. This is the beauty of it.
Did you catch he called me boss, people? And have you been in touch with him? Is he still?
Oh, no, don't keep in touch. But after a session is finished, I forget everything.
Yeah.
It's like my mind gets blank.
Except with me, where I'm constantly messaging you.
Yeah, but it's because when the energetical exchange, we don't understand it. It's bigger than what we feel. We have no clue what we're doing, boss.
Yeah. Oh, I'm with you 1,000% on that. I have no clue. I have no clue how I even got to where I am right now. But, I'm so glad that I'm here. And I was telling the filmmakers yesterday that I just surrender. I surrender to what this is, because I know there's guidance, because there's so much love. And whatever happens is going to happen. We'll get wherever we're supposed to get.
Yeah.
So does the world know about you now? Because I can just tell with me, like I told you, I should quit the podcast and become your personal publicist, because I was telling so many people about you. And has it just spread like wildfire?
Oh, yeah. But I'm not doing many sessions. This is the trick. This is where we have to get to keep our head cold. It's not that easy to be a channel like this. It comes with a price to pay. People think, I want to be clairvoyant and see things. No, you don't, because I see everything that people don't want to see. And sometimes it is extremely, extremely sad or even traumatic, because I can see things that are horrible. You have no idea the levels of horrors that are on this planet. Well, now with a certain list that is out, we are hearing more and more about horrible things. I've seen things like this, because sometimes I see the movie, I have a video also. It's horrible. So, you don't want to be a channel. And there's a lot of recovery time after session, because if I vomit a lot, sometimes it takes me 4, 5, 6 hours to come back, and I need to eat a lot of food. I need a lot of rest because I move a lot of energy in a small amount of time. This is a challenge. Don't do many sessions. This is why the universe is sending me people who activate their gifts. And then we realize, because more and more people are bursting energy, I think at least I can see that. One person cannot help that many. So it's about activating a network of, I'm going to use the word healer, even if I don't like it. This is what people resonate with the most. Transmuters would be more correct, because we can transmute the energy that is stuck in other people, because we're all connected. Yeah, we cannot do many sessions. I don't know how people do it when they say they do like 5 or 10 clients a day. It's extremely difficult. Even 2 is huge. Sometimes I do 2. It's when I get the guidance from the universe. Open your calendar. You're going to have people this week. I work full guidance. I don't question it. They asked me to stop for 3 months last year from July, August, September. I closed completely everything, and I'm glad I did. I needed the time to rest. A lot of things happened. I could feel the energies coming in my body, changing my system. It's not a toy. I'm going to say it like this. Energy is not a toy. We cannot goof around, and we have to be very careful with our own body, because there is a cost on our physical body, because the energy transits through our nervous system. It's like after a session, it's like I drank 30 or 45 espressos sometimes. So people have an idea. If you drink a lot of coffee and you're like this, that's how I feel after. It takes a long time to come back. To be famous as well.
No, nor do I. And you're not doing it for that. And that's not why. But for me, I can only do 1, at the maximum 2 interviews a week for my podcast, because there's so much energy in each one of them that I have to recalibrate. I just have to, and I want to honor what happened. And I can't, I know people that can do 1 a day or post 1 a day, or I can't do it. That's why my podcast comes out once every 2 weeks. There's so much energy in every one of them, and that's really important to me, Patrice. Oh my goodness, we're almost at the end. I do have questions that I ask everybody, but is there something that you want to share with the audience that you think is really important for them to know?
Yes, remember to smile, because the vibe just went down.
The vibe in here just went down?
Yeah. We got too serious. We got too serious suddenly. We're like, oh my God, this work is so difficult. Oh my God.
Okay. Oh, good point. Yeah, really good point. No, I love that, because, and the vibe just went up. Could you feel that? The vibe just went back up when you said that. So this is what I do in my office. I'm just thinking, oh my God, this is like technology screws up. I have a screaming goat, and this is what I give people. So when I hear that goat, it just changes everything. It shifts me. Yeah. Ooh, that was a really good example of a vibe kind of shifting. Thank you for sharing that. Patrice, I'm going to ask you a few questions that I ask everybody. You ready? Okay. What is your number 1 go-to strategy to relieve mental distress?
Sleep. People don't sleep enough. I sleep 14 hours a day. So people have an idea. Because sessions are exhausting, but I always slept a lot. It's very important. Most people are sleep deprived. And if you can get a weighted blanket, that's even better. The weight of the blanket is like a massage that's going to help you relieve some stress.
Do you get messaging while you're sleeping?
Oh, yes, I get full lucid dreams. Sometimes I get visitation. Sometimes I leave my body. I go to other places. Maybe we had meetings together, but I don't remember.
Well, I can tell you, since my session with you, I've had lucid dreams. And it's been fun. That part's been really fun. What's one of the best pieces of advice you've received in life, personally or professionally?
Oh my God. It's a good question. I never received a good advice.
Never.
Because they were not read with the energy. It was people with their experience, and it was not matching my frequency. So it was just people in the pure 3D who acted based on the marketing strategies and stuff like this. And I'm a free spirit. I needed freedom and I needed nothingness. People should have told me, do nothing. So I actually started to have, I'm going to say, good advice since I started to get readings. But it took me a long time to understand what it was about, because it was so weird. The readings I got were so weird because my energy is very strange. My signature is very different. I didn't understand I needed to vibrate the essence of nothingness to manifest. When I mean manifest, not object, to manifest joy in my life and freedom. I do not work very well with material things. So I was trying to blend in the world, but did not work for me because that's not what I'm designed for. That made me very sad for 50 years. But that's fine. That was part of the experience to know what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't matter what age you are, you can get there.
Yeah.
So, and I feel I'm much older than you, but I feel like I'm finally getting there. And it feels really, really good.
So,
To get to nothingness, how do you do that?
it's the wrong question.
Okay.
You have to find your essence first. So what is your essence? Maybe your essence is love or purity. So if your essence is purity, you need to be pure in your life. And this is where you manifest the best things. Try to get readings and ask who you are. Who am I? What is my essence? And vibrate that. Everybody's different. We are here to embody a certain essence. This is a tricky part, is to understand what it is. So for you, it's like between inner peace and love and simplicity, the essence of simplicity. The more you simplify things in your life, the more you will manifest and the more joy you will have.
I'm all about simplicity, definitely.
So
See, now-
people need to figure out and vibrate that, act towards that. The problem is that when you are in a 3D environment where there is noise all around the place, you try to blend in, and this is where you get away from your own resonance. Because everybody's a musical instrument. If you're a guitar, you're not going to try to resonate like an accordion. Just be a guitar. It's that. That's what it's about. But it's not taught anywhere. I discovered that recently, and it was a game changer for me.
I think that's really beautiful. I have found for myself I need a lot of alone time. And I'm really comfortable with that, super comfortable with it. And be in nature. I have to be. I walk barefoot a lot in nature. I'm on a grounding mat with bare feet right now. Crowds start to get to me a little bit. I can do it for a very short period of time. But I think a lot of people are like that. What does a successful life look and feel like to you?
To find your own note. Play the music you're supposed to play. That's what it is. So it's different for everybody. We are all here for a personal experience. There's not a book that one rule fits all. It's not like this. Some people, maybe they're here to experience simplicity like you. Some other people are here to experience traveling around the planet because we are travelers. But that's very sense. Freedom, maybe the sense of freedom would be somebody who travels a lot. This is why you need to figure out what your note is. It's very hard to find people who can actually read your true essence. They exist. So I cannot answer your question. It's personal. It's a personal journey to be your own boss of your own life. Find your note. This is the most important thing. You can ask. They will deliver it in dreams. We forget to ask. Dreams are an incredible way to receive messages. Every night you say, please show me what my note is, until you get a dream, and your guides will tell you. Might take months, days, I don't know. It depends how connected you are. But you will get it.
I love that so much. I love it so much because what I understand is that everybody has their own tone. Yes. And then it's the tones that resonate, the ones that kind of match. You and that's how I feel with you. And it's how I felt this weekend. The tones matched. It was beautiful. It was really beautiful. My last is a sentence. In the past I was, and now I am.
Besoin ça. Et in the past.
Drop mic. Patrice, what an honor, what a privilege it has been to get to know you. I mean, you were my very first contact of new person in my life in 2026 at 6 a.m. on January 1st. And it's been a true honor, a real honor to know you. Also, where can people find you?
You can find me on my website, patricekrysztofiak.com. It's impossible to write, so that's fine. Just you can find me.
It's okay, because all of that will be in the show notes. And I do want people to know that you offer some free events where you do sound healings and things like that. But if you just go to his website, you can see his schedule. And I think your schedule is going to be impossible.
It's already impossible.
It's impossible. So, Patrice, thank you so much. Oh, I have another question. I can't let you go yet. I want to know what your wife thought about all this when you were having this metamorphosis, because if you're in a relationship, it can be very strange.
Oh, she was so excited, and she was bombarding me with questions every single minute. Channel V. I could not stand it anymore. I was like some people have a personal chef. She had a personal channeler. But eventually they cut off the bandwidth. They're like, no, that's enough, stop. But I don't think she believed that they cut me off from channeling answers for her. But because energy is not a toy, so at the beginning they open the bandwidth so you can practice. But you reach the point where the channel stops if it's not for the greater good of humanity. When you start to channel stuff that is just for curiosity, it will just stop.
Yeah, no, I have found that I just allow it to come in. I don't force anything. And then and what happens oftentimes if loved ones have passed and I'm interviewing maybe the wife or the husband or the daughter, those beautiful relatives come in. And I just had an experience the other day that was unbelievable. So, but I don't force any of it. It just happens. And I'm very honored that they trust me to come in. So, okay, Patrice, it has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time and staying up late for me. And
thank you, boss.
Yeah, you betcha.
Everybody's going to write boss in the comments now. Please write boss in the comments.
What a treat this has been. And much, as I always say, much, much, much more later. Take good care of yourself, Patrice. Mwah. We need you in this world, young man. And you are a young man. You are a young man.